guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, got an email from a subscriber. This guy's 48 years old. He's been married for 5 years, and putting it plainly, his life is absolutely gone to you-know-what in a handbasket in the last week. He wrote in really looking for help because I'm sorry to say it's gotten so bad that he's thinking about, seriously thinking about ending things. Hence why I'm bumping this up and getting it to YouTube as fast as possible to really hopefully help him out. And hopefully you guys can offer piece of advice to help him out too. Long story short, he is 48 years old. He's been married to his current, soon-to-be ex-wife for the last 5 years. He was married previously, had some sons out of that. And just this past week, found out that his wonderful wife of 5 years has been cheating on him, and for 2 years, and make it worse, with his so-called best friend. So as you can imagine, he's having a pretty bad freaking week, to put it mildly. And so bad so that he's actually had thoughts of ending it. And as you can imagine, I don't want that to happen. And so I bumped up his story in the lineup to as quickly as possible because he wrote in yesterday evening that I can hopefully talk to him and share his story, and you guys can offer a piece of advice to help him get through this and move on, because he's got a hell of a lot to live for. He's 48. He has sons from a previous marriage. It's not worth it, guys. That being said, as we're always here to be both entertained and learn and help each other out, our guy here, if I'm being honest here, throughout his marriage and relationship with her, did not do things to help the situation. This guy obviously did things before he found my material and other channels like this that really would cause any woman to lose great amounts of respect for him or any guy, you know? Like I say, you act like a bee, they get treated like a bee. And let me tell you, it doesn't justify her actions. She's a piece of garbage, and so is that so-called friend of his. But this guy didn't help himself. Also, which is extremely important, and again, another lesson here is, wait till you find out the type of gal she is. The last one that any guy should ever get into an exclusive relationship with, let alone marry. You'll see there. And here's one little spoiler. She was, at the time, a single MOM, amongst many other things. And good Lord in heaven, the stereotypes and what happens there. So, this is a longer video, guys, but again, I appreciate it big time. It's a personal favor to me. If you listen to it, comment away. Again, this guy makes a lot of mistakes. He knows the smacks are coming. My smacking arm is warmed up because he has to learn where he screwed up. Otherwise, he'll do it again. And other guys that can learn as well. But I'm here to help him. I have plenty of empathy for what he's going through, but I have to point out where he went wrong. So it says here, and oh yeah, guys, again, don't forget to come join me on Patreon or Locals. Come join me at the men's community I'm building over there. Your fellow a-holes. Got a lot of good stuff. You can join as a free member and check it out, or you can become a paid supporter and get the good exclusive stuff, multiple videos every week, etc., etc. So come check it out, see if you like it. And I'll post a link at the top of the comment section. Okay, he says here, Dear SSM, thank you for answering my email and the advice you gave to me. I was going to give you an update on my stepson, Tony, but none of that matters now. This week changed everything. He wrote in a month and a half ago looking for advice about his stepson because he was really trying to help him, but look what his wife has been doing all along, so that's out the door. Before I get to this week, I'll give you a quick rundown of my own joke of a life. Well, it ain't a quick rundown, this is a long video. At least the past 9 years of it. My soon-to-be ex-wife and I met online 9 years ago when I was looking for hookups. I had been married before, and that one ended with the usual infidelity. Since then, I had some girlfriends, nothing serious, and some single times where I enjoyed what was out there with no strings attached. So in other words, the girl that you eventually married and who's cheating on you now, at the time, was your friends with benefits for hookups. That is not relationship material. Ever. Let alone marriage material. So yeah, smack for that. But obviously, he didn't know any better back then. Some things should be common sense, but a lot of guys, when it's a pretty girl and she's, they're getting romantic, all common sense goes right out the door. I think I was walking the line of a Chad, but I always made it clear that I had no interest in any relationships. Dude, you weren't being a Chad. You were just being a guy that, had some chicks, because believe me, there are always chicks that want to hook up. Chad would not have done what you did. I simply enjoyed having a handful of friends with benefits while keeping life to myself. That's what you should have done, as long as you were careful. So fast forward to 9 years ago, I met, let's just call her Jessica, the bane of humanity and an eater of souls. I found her online and reached out to her. We met a couple times to have our first face-to-face, then get to know each other. I was kind of looking for a relationship then because I was getting tired of being alone. But in no means was I any on the serious hunt for it. She was okay, didn't annoy me much, which for me seems to be hard to find. I don't know if I was just being a jerk or if other guys feel the same way. Well, all gals are annoying. Let's be honest here, but we let that stuff slide because for obvious reasons. So we were talking, hanging out every now and again, and began getting physical. So at some point, I don't really remember how far it was, definitely under 3 months, she called me begging to let her and her kids move in. You've been seeing each other and hooking up for 3 months, and she wants to have you and her kids move in with you? Her husband and her were now actively getting a divorce. Yes, I knew she was married, and my understanding was a divorce was coming. Smack! So you're hooking up with, or at the very least seeing, a married woman, even if the divorce was coming. Bro, not cool. And do you think that if she was cheating on her husband and justifying it for whatever means that is, you don't think she's going to do the same thing to you when she feels justified to do so? That's what they do. How do you know that husband of hers wasn't so bad, that she was just making all that up to get sympathy for you? And it worked. I mean, maybe he was. But then again, given how you describe the character of how she is, maybe you can't blame him. I got to point these things out, guys. I was really hesitant about moving her in. Yeah, you think? I really didn't want to. My gut said no, but because I'm such a P-word at times, I felt bad for them and ignored my gut. Smack, smack, smack. A chick you've been seeing for 3 months, a married woman going through a divorce. The courts are going to be on her side. She's going to make out just fine. She was looking for a provider, dude. What the fuck? You've been divorced already. Do you need to invite more drama into your life? But I do think here in this story, this guy liked drama. He just didn't realize it. So I said, okay, and within the week, they moved into my house. Smack! Let's see how that works out. What happens to white nights? Now, I like having a clean house. I love it. I love having my home smell like cleaning supplies and garbage-free. I haven't had a clean house in 9 years. The consequences of our choices. Smack! Why'd you allow that? You did her a favor. You moved her and her 2 young children in. That's your freaking house. That's your castle. You want it immaculate? You keep it immaculate. But you obviously said you were a P-U-S-S-E-Y. Come on, brother. Or P-U-S-S-Y. I spelled it wrong. Come on, brother. Immediately, you taught her that she can walk all over you. Does that make a woman respect the guy, feel attracted to him? I think not. And 3 months, they move in. That shows her you're desperate. And that's not attracted to any woman, ever. You should have just enjoyed your post-divorce life. You already got kids from your previous marriage, as I find out. Again, I'm not saying this to be nasty or be a jerk, because I know he's going through a tough time now, but I have to point these things out. I wouldn't be a friend to this guy if I didn't tell him the truth. I feel like I blinked, and all of a sudden, I was in a long-term relationship, supporting someone and their kids. Smack! That was your choice. I think that I mentally shut down at this point and began living in a support mode, saying goodbye to anything that I wanted, skipping anything I wanted. While skipping ahead about 4.5 years, she had a new friend named Casey. They began hanging out and became best friends. Casey ain't a girl, guys. Casey's a guy. So after 4.5 years of them freeloading off to him, and this guy just shutting down, now she has a male best friend. Gee, where do you think this is going to go? There should be no male best friend. Oh yeah, smack for allowing that. But when men are worn down, it's easy to walk all over them. And do you think that she respected this worn down guy she's walking all over? No. Now, I'm not an effing idiot. Brother, your actions back then were of, no offense, an effing idiot. I hope she's good looking and the hoo-ha was good while it lasted. I saw it coming from the start. I just don't know if it's because I gave up on life before then and just shut down, but I didn't say a word. I just sat and watched what I already knew play out. And I gotta wonder, man, if you like drama or you just have really low self-esteem and put yourselves in situations with people that are going to disrespect you because you think that's all what you're worth. Well, I don't know. I'm not a shrink. I don't know you. But good Lord, it seems kind of like that, you know? As I think a lot of people do that are really make a lot of mistakes in life and get involved with people that treat them like this. One day that sticks out, I came home from work to find her sitting on the couch with Casey laying his face on her lap in her crotch. They were both clothed, just watching TV, you know, how best friends always do. So the next thing should have been you throwing them out, like in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when they threw Uncle Phil would throw Jazz out the front door. But clearly that's not happening here. Does this sound like a wife that loves her husband? Does this sound like a wife who respects her husband? Ain't far from it. And by the way, her sons, her children are seeing this. Within days after that, we officially split up. There you go. That's an idea, and it should have stayed split up. She was spending most of her time away, staying at his place. I wasn't broken over it. I was numb. But the problem came with the fact that at the beginning of the year, we bought a home together. Oh, God, now you share a home with her. He says, I know, smack. I know it. It's like I was numb, but at the same time, I had grown to care about her after having spending so many years together already. Smack! It's like Stockholm Syndrome. Care about her? Doesn't sound like she cares about you, brother. Again, this is why, guys, I encourage all guys to do everything they can to better themselves so they can build a healthy self-esteem so that when blood-sucking vampires who take advantage of you come into your life, you can pull out that freaking wooden stake and do what you got to do. But when you don't think much of yourself, you invite vampires into your life, into your domicile, and they do what they do. They drain you dry. Well, later that week, the week of the breakup, we had a talk. I told her I missed her and wanted her back. Smack, smack, smack. If I could do it, I'd be kicking you now. Dude, obviously she was cheating on you, and you wanted her back? Do you desperately need somebody in your life that badly? Again, guys, as I said in the beginning of the story, you know, this guy did not help himself. I feel bad for the pain he's suffering now, but a lot of this was brought on by his actions. It shouldn't be too hard to... But again, digging into the psychology behind it, I really got to wonder about some certain things. Brother, why? At this point, I'll stop and let you beat the hell out of me while my arm's already getting sore. So, of course, she told me she had been hooking up with him, and, of course, she missed me and wanted to make the relationship work. Yeah, let's make the relationship work, and she's been hooking up with him, because they broke up. Newsflash, she was hooking up with him long before your little breakup there. So we got back together. Smack. Let's see how that worked. You just communicated to her that she can cheat on you and disrespect you, and you'll take her back. Let's see how that works out. We get back together, and she tells Casey to go F himself because she had her fill, and we continue a relationship that I now feel cheated on it. I don't know what the rules are of this type of thing. We were split up, and he started laying pipe, but I still feel like I was cheated on. You were cheated on. Guarantee you she was cheating on you before and during that time. From this point on, you'll be dishing out the smacks constantly. Well, 6 months later, we were married. Smack, smack, smack. And smack. Okay, that's a genius idea. You think that won't happen again? Now you're married. You got together her when she was cheating on you, cheating with you on her old husband. You think she's not going to do it to you already? You already told her that, communicated to her that she cheats on you. She has her head in that dude's lap. That you'll take her back. Again, I'm empathy for what you're going through now and you're suffering. But brother, look at all these things. And stick with him, guys. I know a lot of you are frustrated, but this is a brother who's made mistakes. We don't want him to do something bad to himself. There's nothing much to say after that for about a year. After that year, I had met a woman working in the phone carrier store when I need to stop there and for what I don't remember. She had some really nice big boobs, which I know you'll appreciate. I didn't say or do anything then, but she was flirting with me hardcore. Then I started to see her places more and more often. No, you didn't just happen to run into more places. You guys were planning to meet, or she was stalking you or something here. You see where this is going? One day I saw her at the gas station and asked for a number, and 10 minutes later she was sending me spicy pictures. Smack! What's going to happen next is you're now going to justify your wife's actions, and what's going to happen? We began sexting for about 2 weeks. Then one day I came home to find my wife crying in the bathroom with my smartwatch. Ah, you got busted by your wife. She's got a lot of nerve crying. Really? Uh-huh. Brother, no one can blame you in the sense that, hey, she kind of got what she deserved. But you're now you're not like her, but you were doing some things, and now this will just justify what she's going to do. This is a terrible marriage. She had found the text. I'm going to stop here and take responsibility. I was wrong. Regardless of the state of my relationship, the reason of my relationship or anything else, I was wrong. I was married and made vows, and I had broken them with those texts. What you were doing was getting revenge. That's what you were doing. You were doing some passive-aggressive shit. You didn't have the balls to do what you had to do when you found out the first time she was cheating on you and all that, so you stayed with her for whatever reason, and then now you're getting revenge on her later on. Let's see how that works out. I cut contact immediately, and my wife and I started counseling. Shit, it's not going to do much good. We did that for a year and had worked through it as best we could. Again, I want to say I'm not innocent in this story. I take my blame and accept responsibility for my actions. Well, that's good, man. I hope you also take responsibility for all those mistakes you made with this woman. So after the counseling, I felt like I was missing something in my life. I enjoy riding motorcycles, and so I got my motorcycle and motorcycle club after prospecting for a year. That's where I met my new best friend. Let's call him Piece of Crap, because he turns out to be the biggest piece of crap I know. So Piece of Crap and I became inseparable bros. He was married and younger than me, so he had 2 kids and 1 on the way. We did everything together, his family and mine. We even moved to be neighbors last year. We spent so many days and weekends doing things together, grilling outside, playing cards, you name it. My wife loved the kids and would watch them anytime they needed. Oh, how wonderful. Well, this sounds great and all. Oh, the problems of the past are behind us. Bull crap. When their youngest child was born, I couldn't help myself. She was the most precious little angel in the world. I would spoil the boys, and now I would spoil the little girl. She's now a little over 1 year old and calls me Uncle Pumpkin. She loves to call me on video, and I sing to her because I've always called her Pumpkin, and I see her sing her the Pumpkin song while she dances side to side saying Pumpkin. Okay, that's cute. Uncle Pumpkin. She makes things even harder because I love that little girl like she was my blood. So anyways, that's how life has been up until this week. Well, the next day after work, I received a phone call from Piece of Crap's wife. Now, I'm a delivery driver that runs about 400 miles a day, sometimes out of town. 400 miles in a day? Shit. So I know you mentioned you work very long hours. That's a lot of freaking long hours, man. 400 miles in a day? It's probably less than that. Maybe there was a typo there. So I answered the call. She tells me that her 3-year-old has been using Dad's phone to watch cartoons and that he accidentally pushed something on the phone. She picked up the phone and saw messages from Piece of Crap to my wife saying, "Don't open that in front of the kid." So here you go. Here we are. I should clarify my wife works from home. She has 2 sons, Tony as well as Tim. Tim was in the living room when my wife received the prior message, which is why Piece of Crap sent the text saying not to open it right then and there. They must have been talking already for Piece of Crap to have known Tim was in the room. So you're driving all day long, working long hours, and she works from home. That is a terrible situation for a known cheater. So anyway, Piece of Crap's wife tells me that Piece of Crap has confessed that he and my wife have been sexting and sending each other nudes for 2 years. Essentially, the entire time you've been friends with this guy. This guy is garbage, and so is your wife. I'm driving. I had to pull over. I felt like I had been shot right then and there. I got off the phone with her and called my wife. Then I sat there and listened to her tell me about how she's stressed out because this and that and the other thing. She never once said anything about the sexting or pictures, just talked about dealing with drama. Sounds pretty typical to me, man. Well, when she finished babbling on, I took a breath and told her I'd just gotten off the phone with Piece of Crap's wife and told my wife what I had been told. She freaked out and denied it entirely. Of course, every time. Guys, you can watch these. I'm sure you watch these videos, or whether you watch them or listen to whatever you do, how you hear this whole thing. And I guarantee you, like, you're all like, you can see that coming a mile away every time. I don't remember what happened after that. I think my brain is shut down and is blocking some of it to keep me from doing any harm to myself. I just know that I took a huge hit and it broke me. I went to work on Tuesday to get away from it all and try to clear my head. Then I was lucky enough to get a second call from Piece of Crap's wife. She told me that he had confessed more, and they did it, and what they had did, and had become physical. Gee, surprise! 2 years of sending spicy material to each other. Of course, it's going to get physical at one point. He said to her that it happened 3 times, which we all know is a pile of crap lie. I'm guessing it's just too many times to count, and 3 sounds like a mistake that can be fixed to them. In 2 years, there is no way it was only 3 times. Now, every man in this absolutely wants to hear what I was told next. She said that Piece of Crap told her that the first time he came over to my house, where my wife, ever-loving wife, sucked his you-know-what on my couch. The second time was at his house, where he bent my wife over the couch. You guys can use your imagination. And the third time last year, yeah, effing right, was when he effed my wife in his matrimonial bed. And this guy is also a married man with 3 little kids. What a great guy. Remember what I told you, brother, earlier about if you marry a woman who's a cheater, or get in a relationship with a gal who's a cheater on previous relationships, and you cheated with her against the previous, sooner or later, she's going to do it to you again. And you got back with her and married her after she was obviously cheating the first time around. Again, I'm not saying this to be cruel. I got to point this stuff out so you and others learn. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And you don't get involved with friends with benefits and all that. And, oh, yeah, let's throw in the single mom stereotype in here. And good God. Anyhow, I wish I could tell you what happened after. I was told that phone call, but I could not. From that second on, I don't remember the rest of the day. I only remember that I came home, my wife was sleeping in the living room, I remember walking into the room, taking off my work uniform, and calling my boss to tell him that I couldn't come to work tomorrow and why. I think you should be tossing your wife out of the front door. Again, like in Jazz and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I work for probably the best boss anybody could have. He's had my back through all this and would do anything he can to help me get through this. Well, shout out to the boss. That's great. And believe me, I hope in the future you do this boss of yours some favors when he needs it. I didn't sleep that night till around 4:30 in the morning and got a little over 2 hours sleep. I had a doctor's appointment in the morning, Wednesday, 8 a.m. So I got up and went to the doctor's appointment. I told my doctor what happened and asked to be checked for all STDs. Good idea, man. He agreed and gave me a bottle of sleeping pills, which in my current state I put away. At least I tempted to empty the bottle. Dude, or lest I'm tempted to empty the bottle. No. It's not worth ending it over these pieces of garbage, and you will move on, but I'll get to that in 10 minutes. That afternoon, I figured the best thing I could do was try to sleep and hope it was a nightmare. Somehow, throughout this entire chaotic relationship, I ended up falling in love with this woman. There was no reason or logic there. Nope. I know, so I slept for the next 20 hours before I woke up and couldn't go back to sleep anymore. Nothing changed and it was all real. I know, bro, the only peace you have is when you go to sleep, if you don't dream about this nightmare. Then you wake up and then all of a sudden it was rushing back in like a freaking tidal wave. Yeah, like a fire hose is blasting all the negativity in your life. I told her to explain to me how that is possible. Dude, you've been watching this channel long enough to know that you're never going to get a truthful answer out of her at all. She's going to downplay the whole damn thing and blame it on him. She admitted that it started off 2 years ago with pictures and sexting. She told me that he sent her a sausage picture out of the blue. He says she asked him for it, but we'll get to what he said soon. She said one day he had come over and was sitting on my couch next to her. They were talking about whatever, and he pulled out his you-know-what. She said he grabbed the back of her head and pushed her down. Remember the whole believe all women thing? She is a known cheater, a known liar. Do you really think this is truthful? She said that she pulled away and laughed, but it was uncomfortable. Laughed? What, because he's packing 2 inches? Or just, ha 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 ha. Let's go get some ice cream? Really? He then pulled her head down again, blah, blah, blah. You get the point. And I asked her, God, I wish I hadn't, if she had swallowed, and she said yes. Oh, so anyway, she just went along with it. And, well, since she's down there, might as well swallow. Jesus. I'm sorry, man. I mean, I really am sorry for what's going on here. Okay? She's a piece of shit. Absolutely. And so is your so-called friend. And you're going through hell. But Again, I hope you don't take it personally that I had to point out the mistakes along the way. And I'm saying this because I care for this guy, don't want anything to happen to him. She told me the second time, which was the first time they had you-know-what. He called her to see if she would come over and help clean up his house before his wife got home. She did. She said at some point she sat on the couch. He then started talking about SCX and came up to her and dropped his pants. If it was so bad the first time around, you really think that she'd be now going over there and, oh, it happened again and I didn't want it to happen? Come on. She wanted it to. She's full of crap. She says he begged and pleaded to have you-know-what with him for 10 minutes. And instead of leaving, calling me or his wife, she gave in, and went through with it, blah, 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 blah. And the third time she had, she asked him to use a pipe snake because a drain was clogged. She went to their house where he was laying in bed, butt naked with a blanket over himself, and she said she asked him to get the pipe snake. The pipe snake, huh? This is what she told you. She needs the snake to clear out, a clog. And she went to his house and went in there. And when he called her in, she walked back in the bedroom, and there he is, butt naked with the blanket on. And I need to borrow the snake, sir. Yeah, she's going to get the snake. This is ridiculous. She's just making this up as she goes along. Anyhow, more and more bullshit from her. So she got up, looked around the house, picked the front door, and left, blah, blah, blah. She said she stood there in his room and spent the next 10 to 15 minutes listening to him again beg for SCX, blah, 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 more BS. SSM, I know I don't have to say what we all know here. I don't remember what happened after she told him that. I know that the piece of crap's wife and I have texted each other, and she wants to make some revenge prawn with me and send it to both of them. Oh, God, more drama? I'm sure the thought crossed your mind, since already you've tried to take revenge on your wife before, when she wasn't married to you for cheating the first time. I highly recommend you don't go hooking up with your so-called buddy's wife, because you're still married and you need to minimize any more drama here. I was considering it, but today we've agreed not to communicate anymore. I know that on Friday night I got the chance to confront the piece of crap. I've gone back to work Friday, which is a bad idea, and that shit never leave my head. But when I found out he would meet me, I rushed as fast as I could to get there. Okay, so now he's meeting his so-called best friend, who's now his former best friend, and he's going to confront him and listen to his so-called best friend's version of events. Fortunately, when I showed up, he was outside and stayed on the other side of my truck. I was not going to chase him around my truck like a goddamn Tom and Jerry cartoon. I got to hear his version of the story. He said it started about 2 weeks or 2 months after we first became friends. He said my wife asked him for the sausage picture, so he sent it. How interesting, because she said he sent it to her. He said the first time she called him and asked him to come over so she could service him. He said the second time she went over and serviced him again and told him that it wasn't enough and she needed him to, and that's what happened. Because she said the second time he was supposedly begging her and she didn't want to. He said the third time she went over and again serviced him and then got butt naked, and you get the point. Again, very different from her version of events. I listened to him, which only took about 2 minutes. Then I told him what I thought of him. I told him how lucky he was to be on the other side of the truck, because I'm glad and pound his face in until I would pound his face until I couldn't swing anymore. Then I told him to go off himself and do the rest of us a favor. Nobody will blame you for whipping his butt, but also there's another piece of crap in this story. So that was 2 nights ago. I'm where I am because of my choices and theirs. I'm glad you admit that. Thank God you can acknowledge you made mistakes. I know R-Pill. I know I'm not a simp or effing cuck. Dude, you're not a cuck. But you behaved in ways, especially early on in the story, that would qualify as an SIMP. I can't let you get away with that. No. Getting involved with a woman, a single mom with 2 kids, and moving in after 3 months, that is SIMP. And then her cheating on you, and then getting back together with her, and marrying her, and all these other things, that is SIMP. And allowing her to walk all over your life and your house. And all. Dude, you've learned, I'm guessing learned since, but you're still with her. But that doesn't mean you can't change. But I will not let you get away with that. I'm not being friendly by, I know what I'm worth and what my path clearly is. The only problem is that I've been numb for so long, and now this has broken me and destroyed me. So every minute now, those mental pictures run through my head on the loop of my wife and my so-called best friend, and I don't even know if I can anymore. While I love life, this world, and everything the good the Lord created, I think I'm just done. I have plenty of ways out. My wife and best friend think I'm a simp and a cuck. I don't know if I'm too much of a coward to empty the pill bottle or swallow a bullet. That's where I am now. Every day, every minute. I'm 48. My own kids are grown, his kids from a previous marriage, and I had nothing left, and I'm beaten and too broken to care. I'm here to hopefully hear your advice before I figure out if I'm just done or a coward as well. Live long and prosper. Brother, I'm going to jump right into it. You cannot end it. There's too much to live for. You've made a colossal amount of mistakes, particularly in the beginning. But that doesn't mean that you have to continue the bad, negative trend. You can change and turn your life around to be good. It's terrible what you went through. I would wish that on anybody, and I have a lot of empathy for your suffering now. But I pointed those things out along the way so you can understand where you messed up. Obviously, what I was going to say and do. And other guys can learn from your mistakes. But you, again, 48, you're my age. We're the same age, bro. I don't think I'm old. I got a lot to do before I croak. And you got a lot to, and you got sons from another marriage. Okay, they need their dad. Okay, you've been dealt a bad hand, and it's terrible. And you made your mistakes, and you shouldn't have married her. And people can say karma for hooking up with a married woman and all that, but put that aside. First and foremost, do not end it. It's not worth it. If you need to talk to somebody I guarantee you cares. You have a family member, you have other friends, your cool boss, talk to somebody. It's not worth ending it over, especially for pieces of garbage like that. They win if you do that. But now you need to get out of this situation. You talk to your lawyer and you find out everything, how it's going to go, good, bad, or ugly. I said this a bazillion times. I'll say it again, okay? You've been married 5 years, so that's not super long. I don't know the situation. I don't know who earns more money, whatever it is. And you take the hit and move on. Get away from these people as fast as possible. You were pretty much raising her 2 kids since they were young. You wrote this story a month and a half ago. But frankly, you got to take care of you and get away from anything with her as well. I mean, good God Almighty. And this makes sense why she was undermining you, which is the reason why you wrote in that story 6 weeks ago about your son-in-law or stepson. You got to end it and move on. Whatever hit you got to take, it's worth it to get away from these people and start over. And you can, one day at a time, okay? And if it literally means, I don't want you abandoning your house, but it means you get away from them, good. But you can't be in that environment. And you got to talk to people that care to have your back and understand the situation. I get it's embarrassing and humiliating, but you got to control the narrative. Talk to your sons. Let them know. I mean, if they're good sons, they'll care. And you matter, okay? You made mistakes. We all do. There were a lot, but you can learn from it. And then take it one day at a time and get through this divorce, end the story, and start over. I've covered so many stories of guys, miserable situations, and have carried on, moved on, started life, and had a renewal. And you can do it too. That's why I'm here. That's why other good channels out there are there, but this is my channel. This is why I'm here, to help bros out. And you got a whole community here, guys watching, who have been smacking the shit out of you like me, but don't want anything bad to happen to you. This is how us guys learn, by us being smacked upside the head. But you can do it, one day at a time. And you get out of the house, wherever you may be, you get an apartment, and frankly, she should leave, but the odds are that's not going to happen. So I'm being realistic here, but get away from her. And frankly, there's no need to speak to her anymore at this point. But before you leave, get everything out of the house that you need, all paperwork, documents, important stuff. If you have a shared bank account, get your money out of there. Cancel any credit cards that she may be joint credit cards, anything so she can't harm you anymore and she already can, and be gone with it. End of story. And you can certainly assist piece of crap's wife and her divorce with him, which obviously is going to happen, but don't be hooking up with her because that's crazy. You don't need more drama. And that's it, one day at a time. Join a gym, get some exercise, anything, but avoid the bottle, avoid the pills, all that type of stuff. And no, ending it, you can't do that, man. People care about you. I don't want that to happen to another guy there. Some guys will end it all. If you end it all, it'll break your son's heart and other people that care about you, And these bastards will win. And when you end it and move on, then you can really reflect on where you went wrong, why you got involved with someone like that, why you took them in, why? Because you were married the first time, you got sons. Why would you get married a second time? I don't get it, And loneliness, get a dog, 2 dogs, get a cat, a couple cats like me. Believe me, they ain't gonna cheat on you. And that's that. And you have your interests, your hobbies, your friends, your sons, you're going to be okay. But this is not worth it anymore, One day at a time. But bro, I'm here for you. The community is here for you. A lot of guys are going to give you a hard time in the comment section, but we mean well, but it can't go on anymore like this. And you have the power to make a change, but you got to make a change. And you got to dig deep as where you went wrong so it never happens again. And I'll say this, so long as you're a member of this community, you're forbidden from ever getting married again. Okay? You'll be excommunicated if you ever get married again, because that'd be freaking psycho. But I do have to wonder if there's self-esteem issues in you, why you got involved with something like this in the first place. White knight complex, hero complex, I don't know. But a lot of guys that have the self-esteem issues get involved with situations like this and invite the wrong people in life. Because you said your first marriage ended because she was cheating on you. I don't know. But you got to do a lot of work on yourself, some good therapy. But, brother, it's not worth ending it. You're worth something. People care about you, and you got to do it. You got to stay strong. One day at a time, you have it in you. So many guys have been through shit like this. I've been doing thousands and thousands of stories over the years, and I know you got it in you too. You're going to be okay, but it will take time. So that's what I got to say. And it's hot, so I'm going to wrap this up. So, bro, best of luck to you. Again, we want to hear about your updates and how things are progressing, but you got to get away from these people. It's time to take action right now. You can make a change. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think. Please, even though you were smacking him in the comment section for his past actions, we need his help. Any of you guys been through a divorce, been cheated on, whatever, offer pieces of advice to help this guy. This is why we're here, and he needs it. Please do help him. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.